Well, amidst all that is happening with coronavirus, of course, the panic that's been created, what Mojo accessed is actually an emotional letter from an Air India pilot who speaks about his love for the airline, who shares through his words that why the airline should not be sold to a private player, who through his words and sentences stressed on the part that Air India is more than just a business airline. It's rather an emotional relationship between families and people that is, of course, shared by Indians in the country. Air India has been, in fact, the longest existing in the country, seeing various kind of crises and yet surviving. Well, I spoke to the writer, of course, who stands anonymous with this, and he told me that the experience with this airline has been beyond just a mere job. In fact, he shared that the government should hold this as its own entity because Air India is the only airline that's saved during emergencies and any kind of crisis, including that of COVID-19. Well, to quote, he says that currently the aviation sector is going through a major turmoil. But he says, as an Air Indian, he has a contrary view because he sees an opportunity and hope. He says, with all the kind of experiences that have been happening in the past few days, there has been change of image of Air India among people. Overnight, I quote, he says, overnight, the Dying Maharaja has risen like a phoenix to become a knight in shining armor to thousands of stranded Indians worldwide. Well, of course, we've been reading media reports and talking about it, that how Air India has played a significant and crucial importance in actually evacuating and saving various Indians who've been stuck across various other countries who've been adversely affected by COVID-19. Well, the letter goes on to further also say that Air India is not just another airline. It is or not just another business. It is rather a long-range strategic arm of the mighty Indian state. It mentions also about the plight of other competitors who are existing in the market, that is the private players. We talk about other airlines like that of Indigo, Go Air, Spice. Certain have downsizing issues and certain have revenue issues. But he says, even if we talk about bringing in other kind of airlines or bringing in other kind of capacity from European countries, what lacks is the purity of Air India. He says Air India's business does not depend on corporate accounts. I'd like to quote that he said, we should therefore draw strength from our history, look at the bright side, stay inside our homes with our loved ones, and thank our lucky stars. Well, a letter that, of course, talks about the strength of Air India, a letter that talks about why Air India should not be privatized, a letter that talks about the brave deed of evacuating various Indians that Air India crew has performed in last few days. It's an emotional appeal that Mojo tried covering, of course, in order to bring to the people that what the employees of Air India who've been family to Air India think about.